Hello and welcome to my top 5 games for the Game Boy. Sorry it's been so long since the last video. Hope you enjoyed this video. More videos will be coming soon, I promise. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and please like the video if you found this interesting. Number 5, Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins. Super Mario Land 2, 6 Golden Coins is a platforming game released in 1992 and later was released on Nintendo's 3DS Virtual Console in 2011. It is the sequel to Super Mario Land and marks the introduction of Mario's self-proclaimed arch-rival Wario, who would later become a recurring character in the Mario series as well as a main protagonist in his own series. The plot that immediately follows that of the first game consists of Mario returning to his castle after rescuing Princess Daisy, only to find that it has been taken over by an old enemy, Wario. While Mario was in Sarasa Land, the 6 golden coins, Mario's keys to the castle, will spread throughout Mario Land, and Mario must retrieve these coins in order to defeat Wario, reclaim his castle and restore order to Mario Land. The game begins with a simple tutorial level to help the player learn the controls of the game. This level cannot be replayed after this is completed. The player must travel through the 6 different zones containing a series of levels to collect the coins. Unlike the gameplay of its predecessor, Super Mario Land 2's gameplay more closely resembles that of past Mario franchise titles. Most notably, this game replaces the Super Ball Mario with the more traditional Fire Mario. Number 4, Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3 is a platform game developed by Nintendo in 1994. It is the first video game to feature Wario as both a playable character and the main character, as well as the first appearance of Captain Syrup and her brown sugar pirates, recurring villains in the Wario Land series. Wario Land features gameplay markedly different from the previous 2 games in the Super Mario Land series. The game takes place on a route through several themed areas which split into several courses culminating in a boss fight. Wario is able to jump on or bump into enemies to knock them over. The enemies thus stunned can be picked up and thrown at other enemies. When in his grown form, Wario is also able to perform a soldier charge, which can be used to attack enemies, break through blocks, and open hidden treasure chests. There is additionally 3 unique helmets that Wario can attain with their own abilities. Unlike the Mario series, in which coins are typically used to earn extra lives, coins in this game are instead used as currency, as they can be earned by collecting them, finding them in blocks or soldier charging enemies. If Wario has occurred 10 or more coins in a level, he can pull out a 10-piece coin, which can be thrown at enemies and picked up again if desired. They can also be spent to open level exits or activate checkpoints. Extra lives are earned by collecting heart points, which are earned by defeating enemies or collecting hearts. Number 3, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening is a '93 action-adventure game developed and published by Nintendo for the Game Boy. It is the 4th installment in the Legend of Zelda series and the first for a handheld game console. Link's Awakening is one of the few Zelda games not to take place in the land of Hyrule. It does not feature Princess Zelda or the Triforce Relic. Instead, the protagonist Link begins the game stranded on Koholint Island, a place guarded by a whale-like deity called the Windfish. Assuming the role of Link, the player fights monsters and solves puzzles while searching for 8 musical instruments that will awaken the sleeping Windfish and allow him to escape from the island. Like most games in the Legend of Zelda series, Link's Awakening is an action-adventure game focused on exploration and combat. The majority of the game takes place from an overhead perspective, The player traverses an overworld of Crowland Island while fighting monsters and exploring underground dungeons. Dungeons steadily become larger and more difficult and feature nightmare boss characters that the player must defeat, taking different forms in each dungeon and getting harder to defeat each time. Success earns the player heart containers, which increase the amount of damage that a player can survive. When all of the player's heart containers have been emptied, the game restarts at the last doorway entered by the character. Defeating a nightmare also earns the player one of the 8 instruments necessary to complete the game. In addition to the main quest, Link's Awakening contains side missions and diversions. Collectible secret shells are hidden throughout the game. When 20 of these are found, the player can receive a powerful sword that fires energy beams. Number 2. Tetris. Tetris is a puzzle video game developed and published by Nintendo for the Game Boy in 1989. It is a portable version of the Alexei Pitnev original Tetris, and it was bundled with the North American and European releases of the Game Boy itself. It is the first game to be compatible with the Game Boy link cable. A colorized remake of the game was released on the Game Boy Color titled Tetris DX. The Game Boy version of Tetris plays identically to versions on other platforms. A pseudo-random sequence of Tetramino shapes comprised of 4 square blocks each fall down the playing field, which is 10 blocks wide by 18 blocks high. The object of the game is to manipulate the Tetraminoes by moving each one sideways and rotating it by 90 degrees, with the aim of creating an horizontal line of blocks without gaps. When one or more such lines are created, they disappear, and the blocks above, if any, move down by the number of lines cleared. As in most standard versions of Tetris, the blocks do not automatically fall into open gaps when the lines are cleared. As the game progresses, the Tetraminoes fall faster. The game ends when the last part of the Tetramino extends beyond the top of the playing field when setting in place. The player can normally see which blocks will appear next in a window off to the side of the playing field, but this feature can be toggled during the game. Points are awarded based on the current level and number of lines cleared. The level increases each time the player clears 10 lines, and so does the speed of the falling Tetraminoes. As of June 2009, more than 35 million copies have been sold. Number 1. Pokemon Red, Blue and Yellow. Pokemon Red version and Pokemon Blue version are 96 role-playing video games developed by Game Freak and published by Nintendo for the Game Boy. They were the first installments of the Pokemon video game series. They were first released in Japan in 1996 as Pocket Monsters Red and Pocket Monsters Green, with Special Edition Pocket Monsters Blue being released in Japan later that same year. The games were later released as Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue in North America and Australia in 1998 and in Europe in 1999. Pokemon Red and Pokemon Blue combined Red, Green and Blue for release outside of Japan. Pokemon Yellow, an enhanced version, was released in Japan in 1998 and in other regions in 1999 and 2000. The player controls the protagonist from an overhead perspective and navigates him throughout the fictional region of Kanto. In a quest to master Pokemon battling, the goal of the game is to become the champion of the Indigo League by defeating the 8 gym leaders and then the top 4 Pokemon trainers in the land, the Elite Four. Another objective is to complete the Pokédex, an in-game encyclopedia, by obtaining the 151 available Pokemon. The player begins in their hometown of Pallet Town. After venturing alone into the tall grass, the player is stopped by Professor Oak, a famous Pokemon researcher. Professor Oak explains to the player that wild Pokemon may be living there, and encountering them alone can be very dangerous. He takes the player to his laboratory where the player is instructed to select a starter Pokemon for their travels out of Bulbasaur, Squirtle and Charmander. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you have a great day.